Sometimes we seem to forget that these gaming handhelds that we like so much are actually toys, and then we get a competent release that immediately reminds us as such. What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Today we're going to take a look at a new handheld from AISLPC, a company that's brought us the likes of the R36T, the R36 Max, the recently reviewed on this channel RG52 Mini, as well as a plethora of other handhelds that we've taken a look at. Today we're going to check out the RG43H Pro. With similar specs to the RG52 Mini, this toyish looking handheld is bringing comfort to the retro handheld scene that's rarely seen. Let's take a look. Before we get too far into this, let it be known that this was provided to me from AISLPC for the purpose of review. No money has exchanged hands, they have no input in what goes in this video, and they will not see it before you do. Let's get this thing off of here. Oh, so much better. Now they do make the RG43H Pro in multiple colors, including this beautiful baby blue they have here on the box. There is black, there's also a GameCube colorway, as well as a different gray, and then what we have here with the pink buttons. I actually chose this, oh no, black. But I thought it would just be something kind of unique and interesting with what we got here. It does have the specs here on the back too, but we'll go over those here in just a minute. So this is what we got here. I lost my original unboxing footage, so we are going to unbox it here for you again. So inside here we do have our device. Underneath that it does come with a USB-C to USB-A cable. That way you can put them in your drawer next to the other ones, which is fantastic. I'm going to keep complaining about always getting these cables that we don't need, just because they're kind of like e-waste now, but then at some point I'm going to run out of cables because they don't last very long once you start using them, and I'm going to be pissed that I don't have extra cables. We also do have an origami accordion here. It's a true origami accordion, and this does actually just kind of go through the different systems you can play. Not a whole lot on here, but if you do need to get some information, it does kind of help you out. Talks about emulator cores and all that kind of stuff. So nothing crazy, but hopefully if you needed a screenshot of that, you figured it out. And then we also do get a screen cover. Now this isn't an acrylic screen cover, but it is a screen cover nonetheless, which is fantastic. Any device that comes with a screen cover, I don't really care how it is. It's just nice that they come with them. Obviously the nicer screen covers, the better, but I mean, that's cool. They don't need to give you a screen cover. They don't tell you they're giving you one. It's just in the box. So that stuff here, it was underneath inside the box there for you. So that gives you a little feel for what comes in the box for the RG43H Pro. And now we're going to just take a quick look at the specs and kind of go through the I/O here real quick for you. That way you get a real good feel for what this thing is all about. All right, so let's go through the specs of this thing real quick. The RG43H Pro does come with Linux installed, and it is running a version of Emulation, which a lot of these devices are right out of the box. It does have a 4.3-inch IPS display that is 1024 by 768. That does make it a 4:3 display, which is great for retro gaming. It is rocking the RK3562 processor. That's from Rockchip, and that is the same one we saw here in the RG52 Mini. So we're seeing the same thing here in the RG43H Pro, which has been a reliable chip in this kind of handheld category here. The GPU is a Cortex A53. It does have 2 gigs of RAM, which is great compared to a lot of the handhelds that are coming out this year due to the RAM kind of issues that we're having right now. But it does only have 4 gigs of internal storage. But of course it can take a memory card. Sticks and triggers are dual RGB, and connectivity does have 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. There is a 3.5 millimeter hole in here for your audio for headphones, and there is a 1-watt speaker, which is right here on the back, I believe. I'm not really sure. This is all broken up. It kind of looks like ventilation, but I'm pretty sure that's where the speaker is coming out of, and we'll get more into that when we go through the I/O. There is a Type-C OTG port on here, a 4,000 milliamp battery, and you can put up to a 512 gigabyte SD card in here. I'm not sure if you can go any bigger. They didn't discuss any bigger. And the other thing that I am missing on here is there is an HDMI port right down here on the bottom for your HDMI out. So you can do some gaming on the big screen if you want to. Woo! Then you'd be able to plug a controller into the OTG port or just use this as a controller, as this thing is very comfortable, which we will discuss more as the video goes on. I don't really care what it looks like. It is comfortable. All right, let's go through the I/O here real quick. Like we always do, we will start at the top. We do have right and left trigger and shoulder buttons. These things are kind of loud, even when you shake them. They're pretty loud. They kind of sound like the back shoulder buttons on like the R36S. Really kind of crazy that way. We do have a power and reset button up here, as well as volume up and down. Nothing too out of the ordinary. On the back here, we do have some ergonomic bumps, as well as some grill space, which I believe is actually where your speaker sound is probably coming from. It says there's 1 single watt cavity speaker in here. There's 3 holes. I'm guessing there's definitely not 3 speakers, but it must just be dissipating the sound across the back of it, I guess. We have nothing on the left or the right, but if we do move down to the bottom down here, we do have a 355 hole for your headphones. a DC hole, which is listed as an OTG hole as well. So it doesn't say it on the bottom here. On the website, it is listed as an OTG hole. We do have an HDMI hole right here for your video out, and a TF or SD card hole right here. And that'll do up to a 512. On the front here, we do have our start and select buttons on the top. These are micro switches. And we also do have our face buttons. These things aren't terrible. They're a little clacky, but they're not terrible. They have good rebound. They're really quick, which is really fantastic on a device like this. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. And then we also do have, obviously, I don't know if you can call this a D-pad, but it's a circular D-pad. It does have a central pivot to it, which is nice. But it's just kind of a round blob that sort of has buttons on it. And then we do have our sticks here. These are just listed as RGB sticks, so they're not listed as anything as Hall effect or TMR or anything like that. And they really are pretty much just traditional Switch style sticks. So nothing crazy. Where was I going with that? And then we do have the 4.3 inch IPS display right here, which does give us a 4:3 aspect ratio at 1024 by 768. So we will get some good visuals through the screen, and you will see that throughout this video. And we do have some opportunities on some of this to upscale our resolution as well. So we will take advantage of that where we can. But the real question I started off with the RG43H Pro was, what is this thing all about? It's not the fanciest looking thing that's out there, but that doesn't mean it doesn't perform well. In fact, like I had stated, it does actually perform similar to the RG52 Mini because they are using the same internals, different size screen, but everything other than that, and obviously the buttons are going to be a little different, but as far as the performance and the SoC that's in here, they are using that same SoC, and that is a decent performer. So a lot of that's carrying over here, and I will put a link down in my thingamabob to my video on the RG52 Mini. That way you can go back and look at that if there's anything that you're wondering if it'll play or not. I may have looked at something different on that one than we are going to on this one, so you might be able to see some different gameplay there. Or maybe I'll answer some different questions for you, as I'm going to try to keep this short since that video does exist. There is a lot to like about this handheld once you get past the looks, and this is something similar to what Microsoft just recently did with the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X, with these bumps down here to make it feel more like a controller. And that is ultimately what this does. It makes it actually feel like a controller in your hands. This is probably the closest to a controller I have felt on a handheld, probably in all of them that I've reviewed. So what they essentially did was somebody took a game controller, stretched it, and put a screen in the middle. As long as you can get past that look, there is a lot of genius to it. There are a few things though that do suffer because of that strategy, and we will talk about those here as we go along, but I think it's important to take a look at some of the gameplay first. I'll keep cooking through some more gameplay here, and then we will discuss more on the back end of the pros and cons of this device. Okay, so we're going to stop game testing right there just so we can discuss this handheld. For one, if you go to my RG52 Mini video, you are going to see a lot of the same game testing going on because they have the same SoC inside of them. Only real difference is obviously the shape of the device as well as the screen size. And I really like the RG52 Mini, probably a little bit more than I like the RG43H Pro for various reasons. And I think that's important to discuss these here with you because you know I'm always going to be honest with you on this channel. For one, this D-pad is absolutely not a D-pad. I don't know what you want to call it, but it doesn't, it does direction sort of, but definitely if you want to do any kind of fighting games, you are not going to be able to do your Shoryukens and Shinookens and all the other Dukens that you can do on games like Street Fighter. It doesn't work for that. Unfortunately, there's just, the pivot isn't correct and you can't, no matter what you do, or at least me personally, but again, I'm not the greatest at fighting games, but these are moves that I can use in every video to be able to show. Now, you do get good performance on this, so if you're not looking at fighting games, these sticks and everything work great. And you are able to play, you know, some Dreamcast games. You're able to play some PSP games, definitely PS1, all that kind of stuff is not going to be a problem. Again, if you want to see some of that, link down below to the RG52 mini video, just because it has more gameplay in it. Trying to keep this a little bit short and sweet. And also, I need to address a glaring issue with this particular handheld. And I think what we're going to do is we'll put it on the desk so I can show you. Okay, so this is interesting to say the least. So here we have our handheld. It is a great little handheld, but I did find when I went to start shooting this video that I was missing that particular trigger button, and they fall off relatively easily. There is a design flaw here, and it may be specific just to my device, but because you can see plastic shards in there, but also there should be a spring in there. And the reason why I know is because this one here pops right off too. And this one has a spring inside of it, which this one seems to be missing. I looked through my backpack and also my little Indiana Jones satchel that I carry around sometimes, my day bag. I couldn't find the spring in either of them, so I'm not sure where that went. Now, the button still works. Everything works just fine on these. I mean, you're still getting them to work like a trigger, but you should not have this kind of thing going on when you're using a new device. But yeah, I mean, they still work and everything, but also they're very loud anyways. They're kind of rattly. It just doesn't make sense to me. Also, this lack of buttons here doesn't make sense to me, but that's a different conversation altogether. I'm almost positive that this was a handheld that was actually originally coming out from another manufacturer. I think that AISLPC probably just picked it up from them and then manufactured it and sent it out. And unfortunately, it's just not a win. If you're into games that don't require the D-pad, you're going to do okay with this handheld, and it is so damn comfortable. It really does feel like a game controller in your hands. It's really hard to explain, but you almost get that teardrop here in the bottom that you do on the bottom of some controllers, and everything just fits perfect, like where my middle fingers kind of sit right here on these edges. Everything fits really nice, and I'm really bummed that I'm having this trigger issue with how comfortable this is. Now, I have looked online, and I haven't seen anybody else complaining about this, so this specifically could be part of my device as well, but with the way that it works on both sides and then they just pop right off, I just don't believe that it's a device issue specific to this particular device, because it seems to me more like a design flaw issue than it is a device issue. I may have to pick another one of these up just so I can check it out and see if there's similar problems with it. I do want to say thank you again to AISLPC for sending this to me for review. They have sent me many devices in the past, and I have always really liked what they have sent me. This has been the first one that I definitely have some questions about. This is going to be the right device for some people. This is just not going to be the right device for me. And I can be kind of hard on my devices and I travel with them and stuff like that. So this is more an issue for me by putting them in and out of my backpack and stuff. But had that not fallen off of my backpack, I would have never realized how easy they were to pop off, likely, unless it popped off in my pocket or something like that moving forward, which likely probably would have happened with how easy, again, these things pop right off. Literally, it doesn't take any effort at all. So hopefully this isn't an issue across the board. I'm hoping that they'll reach out to me and let me know. Otherwise, for them, this will give them something that they'll know is something that they need to fix. And I think that if they added a millimeter or two to this lower lip right here, that would actually make it so that the button could not fall out without unscrewing it at least. It just doesn't have that pressure of being held together. And everything here is tight, so there's nothing I can do about that. With the way the design is, everything is actually very, very well put together. The seams are very smooth. There's no problems there at all. So that is definitely just something in that where I think they need to add a millimeter or two to this lip in order to hold that button in, because there is a little groove on that button. But if you do find that this is something that does interest you, there will be a link down below to pick one up. If you think I should grab another one to see if it is an issue with the device itself, or if it is actually an issue across the board, let me know down in the comments below too, and maybe I'll pick another one up just so I can kind of compare the two. But that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends, because sharing is caring. It also helps grow the channel, and that is definitely one of the ways we are growing the most around here, is by people sharing our videos. It's been like that since the beginning. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for sticking around this long in the video. Hopefully I was able to answer some questions for you. I know I didn't get a lot of gameplay in on this one, but I thought it was kind of important to kind of jump ahead to a conclusion. There'll be a couple of videos up here for you on the screen if you are interested in watching some more videos, which I would definitely, if you made it this far, I think you probably should click on one of those, and you will find some more interesting stuff out there. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.